Good morning, VMA Global College and Training Centers Incorporated, and welcome to the Pre-Election Interview 2022. Before we start with the interview, let's have first the invocation to be followed by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Sa langit ka, sambahin ang ngalan mo, papasaanin ang kaharian mo, sundin ang loob mo, dito sa lupa para ng sa langit. Bigyan mo po kami ngayon ng aming kakanin sa araw-araw. Patawarin mo kami sa aming mga sala.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, hewas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, kuyak ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa nagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong pagaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa paglayang minamahal, ang isang ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nag-iindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pamay di magdidinig. Luma ng araw ng walhagit pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pagkay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
And welcome back to the Pre-Election Interview 2022. In today's program, I will be interviewing the standard bearers of the vying parties Likha and Ulikid. This way, the students will be more aware and would know what are the programs, the projects these aspiring student leaders will have for you as students. If you have any questions, please write them on the comment sections below and we will asking them later on. I am your host, Rene III B. Alcala. First in the set of interviewees is the incumbent executive secretary of the Supreme Student Government, who is now running for the presidential race. We have here Midshipman Sergio Cuevas III.
Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning, Sergio. How are you?
I am feeling great today, sir.
Okay, so thank you for accepting the challenge of going here in an interview. I know this takes a lot of guts and courage, because if you cannot face an interview, how can you face the problems, right?
Yes, sir.
This is just
I really
a
agree.
start. Okay, so let's start with the interview. And You are running under the umbrella of Ulikid, right? Yeah. So how did it start? Where did you get this Ulikid name?
For the Uli Kids, sir, it was initiated when the election comes from the past school year, or shall I say in 2021. So this Uli Kid means to look back, or Uli Kid is a Ilonggo term for looking back to the students. So why we come up with Uli Kid? So Uli Kid is a party not just for the election itself, but also it is for the community. So our target goals before is to look back for the community, which is including the students itself. So us student leaders before created this kind of party to help also the community. So we also initiated a lot of activities that is in line with the party. So we, as we Ulikid, stands for what is the name stands for, and we are able also to pull through a lot of things that is in relation with the party itself.
Okay, so that's really nice because as Hiligaynon, we can really relate to the word Ulikid because yeah, it's looking back to where we came from, to the people who helped us, to everyone, especially in the community. So I can really relate to that. And I have also seen your platforms, but I didn't know with the other students if they are familiar with the platform, so that is why we are here, so you can present to them your platforms. They would know what you are running for, what are your purpose, right? So what are your platforms, Sergio?
For our platforms, and Ulikid is the constant party that is running for the election for today. So our mindset and our party remains constant, or it remains on what it stands for. So for our platforms, we are able to create more projects or more student participation, and not just only for the election, but it also for the organization, the institution, and also for the community. So our first platform we have is to promote positive relationships among the students, the faculties of the institution, so that we are able to combine or create a safe space for everyone to involve themselves. Because at the past 2 years, there are students are been into the online platforms because of the crisis that we have. And then with this shift of online platforms to face right now, because we're granted with certificate to have our limited face-to-face. So now this is the time also that we are able to create a friendly space for the students to have to not just to mingle, but also to meet their the faculty of the institution. And with this in line, we are able also to include our next platform, which is to instill discipline within the students, because it is the core of VMA. Since then, and with that platform, we're able also to inculcate what the needs also, or what are the things that the students must observe during that face-to-face time. So,
okay, yeah. Thank you, Sergio. I have heard just this a while ago that you are also into the student organizations, right?
Yes, sir.
And building the relationships, also in preparing the students. So what are these programs or projects that will involve these student organizations? Do you have anything in mind? Do you have a concrete platform for that, or any plans about student organizations?
For the student organization, it is also included in one of their platforms that we will tap with the government and non-government organization also, because it is one of the what we call galamay in Ilonggo. So it is a channeling wherein we are able to participate not just for the school itself, not just for the internal affairs only, but also we need to rise up, or we need to create a space man for us nga student leaders na i-involve aton nga self ang aton students, and also student leaders, because as what I have saw in some of the student organizations that is existing here in Negros Occidental, especially student org inside the campus of other schools, they are able to create a connection or participation with the youth movement that is present in our society right now. So it is a great opportunity and privilege also to VMA, Supreme Student Government, if we are able to create a connection with them so that we're able also to help not just the community but also ourselves too, because with that, us student leaders will excel, us student leaders will develop more in our leadership traits.
Okay, so what you're trying to say is that aside from the internal plans, you also have these external plans, like linkages
Yes,
in
sir.
other organizations. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's
Definitely.
nice. Yes, also, what are your other platforms aside from those you have mentioned earlier?
Also other platforms that we have is to activate and activate or what we call ipadayunon ang mga student organizations or student campus clubs and orgs nga present sa aton nga institution. It's not just nga ang aton nga mga student student clubs, campus clubs nga existing sa aton nga institution subong is just will remain. But we need also to create an initiative on what are the needs nga kinanglan gid sa student naton nga mga organizations or mga campus clubs nga hindi siya existing sa subong, and like also student movements, not just movement nga for anti something amone, but also a movement nga can relate bala ang students for us. So I'll give a key point also nga on what are those campus clubs and orgs na kinanglan ta sa school. So as what we have seen, so some of the colleges the departments nga exist sa aton nga campus, we have the CHBM, so they have a lot of campus clubs also nga existing. Also with the maritime department, with that, damo siya existing clubs nga ga-help also sa aton nga student government body, also the institution para bala maka-benefit also ang students. So one thing is that I'll be able also to promote or to establish here are those youth organizations bala nga existing sa Negros nga pwede to siya ma-inculcate sa aton nga organization to make it better. So one thing is we have some like the Red Cross Youth. So that is one of my target also nga i-establish sa aton nga school. As unlike sa or shall I say nga bisan also nga ang aton nga Red Cross Youth has a memo to all colleges and campuses nga existing sa aton nga region is it's mandatory man also, but we need to have an organization nga maka-help sa aton students in youth involvement, so that youth involvement includes leadership trainings nga maka-help sa aton students to develop more themselves and to see where they could make themselves further.
Okay, so that's a very good plan. Actually, it's very clear. It's comprehensional. Then also, it's one of the things, because we have a lot of like every year, or we have 2 or 3 times blood donation drive, and it's very helpful if we could have these Red Cross youth in
Yes,
our
sir.
school, or a campus organization which focuses on Red Cross. I'm familiar with Red Cross. Also, they provide trainings for the students like the basic CPR,
Yes,
first aid, also with several trainings that could really help in the development of the students. So it's very good that you want to activate the student organizations. Yes, I have worked with student organizations also, and they could really be a big help, especially in the community.
Yes, sir.
And also the students are very excited to join student organizations, and I am very happy that if you will win in this election, you have a plan for these student organizations and platforms also. So how about in the academics? Do you have any programs for the academics?
For the academics, sir, we have also in our platform to recognize those. I know it's too common nga i-recognize natin ang ating students when it comes to academic, but what are the things nga much better pag when recognizing them? And also, those academic achievers are brilliance nga makahelp also to organization. So with them, we are able also to come up nga with a activities or with some plans that can help the organization and the institution as well. So they will be able to combine the it's a contributory efforts man for the both parties, the academics and the organization. So with that, we are able nga not just to recognize them to their efforts and their excellence in the field of academics, but also those academic achievers are also involved in some of the campus clubs and orgs na existing sa aton nga school. With that, with their contribution as well as student leaders, so we are able also to recognize them with their efforts in bringing their campus clubs to what they wanted to or what they're seeking for. Especially, it is a gina-recognize naman ang ilang effort as a student leader and as an achiever as well.
Okay, so it's a holistic approach.
Yes, sir.
The platform is very holistic. Like, it's not just for the extracurricular, but also you have plans and platforms for the academics.
Academics.
Yeah, so curricular and extracurricular activities. Campus organizations. How about the mental health? Do you have any advocacies for the mental health of the students, especially in this time of crisis or pandemic?
One of our platform also included, sir, is to put over a plan also to which our students and the faculty could benefit. With that platform, it was in the end of our posters nga it was posted on the social media. So that platform is, we're looking forward to not just to appeal to the administration, but also na we are able to put a plan on having a mental health break to our students, because it was practiced during the pandemic, but it was stopped because we are running out of time sometimes because of the current of that program. But we are able also to bring that back to the students because our students needs a break. Our faculty also needs a break. So with that draining weeks also, especially us, that we are into the student organization, we are so drained, we are so tired, stressed, but we are able to manage. But how about other people? How about other students nga even though wala sila sa organization, but they're into their academics, they're into meeting their deadlines, they are so drained, tired, and stressed as well. So with that kind of platform, even just a 1 to 2 day break, they're able to restore their lost their lost strength over that specific month, or especially with the semester. So it's a semestral break for me that I know it is existing man, sir. Nga we have a summer break, we have a lot of breaks man, but it's different nga we have a mental health break nga that students will not cope up with their activities because of the burden that they have. So with that, sir, with that platform, we are able to create a safe space for everyone to restore what they have lost and to replenish nga ang ilang health situation.
Okay, so yes, the mental health, I'm happy that you have a platform or you have plans and programs for the mental health, concerning mental health.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's just a proposal, right?
Yes,
it's
sir.
a proposal, then it's up if it's going to be approved, right? Yeah, so it's good that we have these in-between breaks during classes for both students and the faculty also, right?
Yes,
Is that right? Did I get it right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so we will know more about Sergio and his platforms when we return. Please stay tuned. And we're back to the pre-election interview 2022 with the incumbent Executive Secretary of SG, Sergio Cuevas. Okay, so to continue with what I were talking about earlier, do you still have anything to add on about your platforms?
About our platform, sir, I think some of those key points I've mentioned already earlier in our part one of the interview. So what I'm adding on is that I've highlighted everything naman with the interview. So with that platforms, we are able also to involve student participatory because an organization would not be possible without the help of the students of VMA Global College. So with that student participations, we are able to pull through a lot of activities. With their help, we are able also to make sure that this activity is worth for not just for their tuition fees, but also for their happiness, also for the school year. And for the next school year as well, let's make it more possible if we have your help, we have your participation for us to be able to make this school year or this academic year of the Supreme Student Government possible and successful.
Okay, so thank you, Sergio. It was very comprehensive. It's very clear, your plans and projects. So what inspired you to come up with these ideas, these projects, these programs for the students?
Coming up with these ideas and project is not just by myself. I knew myself, I contributed on creating this kind of projects and platforms for the next school year. So it was a collective ideas that we've gathered, not just from my party itself, but also from the previous one. It also coming through asking on what should we have on the next school year. Ano pa ang kinahanglan namon ma-offer sa students nga hindi siya common. And it was instilled with the current administration man nga that we need to create brighter projects, that we need to create new ideas that maka-help sa students. So coming through with this, it's too difficult man for us. It's too hard for us to think of things outside the box because it's a new idea. It's a fresh idea. So it's somehow like creating a plan, a concrete plan which will have an impact but also a benefit for everyone.
Okay. So also, of course, the students know that it was posted that you have some senatorial candidates with you on your line,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
So what are their roles in this, in the implementation and all? So what are their roles?
For the senatorial race, we have Senate bodies which is running for the position as well for the Supreme Student Government organization, for the organization. So the vital role of the Supreme Student Government senators for their department is not just to create resolutions. So it was stated in their job description that they need to create the resolutions, they need to approve or to think of what's better for that resolution. But it is a contributory participation of the student organization. It's not just the role of a particular position in the organization, but it is a vital role for everyone to contribute and to create ideas that will help improve the organization. So the role of the student senate is to help the students and the executives to come up ideas to create things that could make better outcome and to create a success for the organization.
Okay. So this is just a hypothetical question, okay? So what if all of the senatorial candidates from the opposition win? So how will you work with them? Like, you have different virtues, you have different values, different platforms, right? So what if, hypothetical, what if the opposition wins on the Senate race?
For the Senate race, I think it's not too common for me because I came from the different party before during the election last October, I think. So some or majority of the senators that is present, or the incumbent senators, is coming from the other party. But for me, it's the role of the president to unite everyone. So without the unity that they have inside the organization, then everything will not be possible, or everything will not be on place. And as a president, it is your role to create a space of camaraderie within them. So it is not about the party itself na when it comes nga sa organization na eh. Two different parties with different mindset and with different personalities and attributes will combine on that specific time na. So it's a part nga we need to have our own contribution eh. A contribution of professionalism when it comes to work. Working with each other could make an organization successful. It's not about personal intention. It's not about your party itself na, or your party alone na, but it is bringing the pride of the organization, the institution, and also for the for the students.
Okay. Sergio, why do you want to run for president? Why do you want to be a president?
Running for the president is a great challenge for me. Actually, people doesn't believe that I'm able to win if I run because I came from the CHBM department. So I guess it's a misconception naman that a CHBM student must be on the lower position lang for the organization. But for me, running is about courage. Running is about your passion and dedication on what you're working for and what you're dreaming for. It's not just a dream for me to become a SSG president, but it is in continuing the legacy that I've been through since senior high school. As what my background says, I've been elected, or I've been in the position of a Supreme Student Government Secretary for 4 long years, to be exact. So since grade 12 up until now, I've been the Secretary of the Supreme Student Government, and it is my role also to put myself up to not to build myself, but to not also to prove myself, but to create a great space for the VMAers and for the organization to excel as well. I know that I don't have any edge from the other opposition, or I don't have any edge with the other students because I am just a normal and a typical student here in the organization. I've been also at the back of the organization when it comes on creating the things needed for the organization. But I run for the presidency not for myself, but for the organization, the betterment of the institution, and also for the students.
Okay. You have mentioned that you are sitting on the Supreme Student Government for quite some time now, like 4 years. So what are the problems that you have seen in the studentry? As a student, yes, in the SSG or in the student organizations alone?
For the student organization, all I've seen for that 4 long years is the dedication of the student leaders. I understand what they're going through. I understand that we are all burdened, we're all stressed with our activities that we're meeting for, and because of the pressure as well that the student leaders is facing right now because they're dealing with academics and the organization. So with that, I've seen that some is turning down or some is lie low na sa organization. But this is the time for me also to create things nga makapabago bala sila nga mindset, because that mindset is so old na for an organization or for the student leaders. But with that mindset, I'll be able to instill with them that you need to dedicate yourself if you have passion and dedication in the organization and on what you're kung ano pa bala ang ginagusto mo. It's not for personal intention but if you have that kind of strength to carry on And because you're running for a position, you must be dedicated. It's not just running for the scholarship. It's not just running for fame or for the certificates at the end of the school year, but it is for the organization. It is also an achievement for yourself that we need to instill within us.
Okay, so just a follow-up question with this question that we have earlier today. Speaking of that dysfunction that is happening to the student organizations, like they're backing up, they're retreating from the challenge of being a student leader. In your 4 years of sitting in the SSG, what have you done to improve that kind of situation, to make it better?
To make it better, I don't need to brag all my accomplishments and achievements for that 4 long years because I am so happy na, to be honest, I'm so happy that few people saw what I have accomplished for that 4 long years. I know that some genuine people will see how productive I am for that 4 long years. But with that 4 long years I've been into the organization, I have instilled or I have done something to make them feel better is I've taken on the challenge to carry some of the burdens of them. And I also a person who will be a helping hand with my colleagues, especially in the organization. It's not new to them. I don't need to brag this one, but it's not new to them that I am helping them to cope up with their deadlines. In the organization, we have deadlines also, especially with the resolution, proposals, and whatsoever. So with that, I am also happy that I help them to conquer what their needs are. And also, it's kind of an intention for me to make them feel inspired of what I'm working on. And also, I've heard a testament that thankful sila sa akon because I helped them. But it's not a happiness for me, but it's a happiness for them that they're able to pull through because I've helped them with their needs with their needs for the organization.
Okay. Before we proceed to the fast talk, one last question. How do you feel with the withdrawal of the presidency or the withdrawal from the presidential race of the opposition, Kim Abarida?
With that, I know it's a hard question for me because it's some of the testaments for me about the withdrawal of the presidential of the other party. But for me, sir, I'm so saddened because I'm not challenged because nag-withdraw siya. So I run for the presidency also to take on the challenge, to take on the responsibility also of running for the position. Because a bit of a thought before running, some people doesn't believe on me to run for the position, not because of not because of what I have or what my capabilities are, but it is on breaking numbers. I know that the population of Maritime is bigger than the CHPM, so I'm not able to win this race. But I know that people believes in me to run for the position, so I made myself decide to run for the position as well. And also, sir, with the withdrawal of the opposition, it's not a they say nga daw na nag-back out siya because of this reason. But we don't need to judge him because of his withdrawal. I've heard some testaments or some words coming from other people nga nag-withdraw siya because of Amone. But it is a courage for him. I also adore him because he took the courage to choose himself first, to choose what's best for him, and to choose over himself, because I know that a president could not carry all the burdens. I know that all the pressure is being put on the president with the organization. I know that everything comes with the decision of the president, and it's a lot of courage and a brave a brave salute to you, midshipman, because you've choose yourself first, and you choose where you're capable of, and you choose where you can stand for. So that's all, sir.
Yes, thank you, Sergio. And maybe the universe spoke that the presidency is really for you. Okay, let's proceed to the fast talk. Okay, so the fast talk, answer only one word for each statement, okay? So one word that defines you as a person.
Dedicated.
How do you release your anger? In what way? Like one word.
Travel.
Okay. So how do you define or how do you describe in one word the current SSG administration?
Quite productive.
If you would live someone else's shoes, who would it be?
Sir, again?
Yeah, name. Someone who
any-
you want to live.
Any person?
Yeah.
It's the choice of the president that I have. It's Leni Robredo.
Okay. One greatest characteristic of a good leader.
Courageous.
Okay, thank you so much, Sergio Cavez. So when we return, we will have our other guest from Lika Party. So please stay tuned. Welcome back to the pre-election interview 2022. So just a while, we have witnessed the incumbent executive secretary of the Supreme Student Government who is currently running for the presidential race. And right now, let us welcome the incumbent vice president of the SSG who is actually running for re-election for the same position. Let us welcome Midshipwoman Christine Joy Bailon. Hello, welcome, Christine.
Hello, sir. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to our viewers. Good morning to our faculty and staff, to administration, and to those who are watching us live now.
Okay, so thank you so much for accepting the challenge. Okay, so you are running the umbrella of Likha, which was known as Lodi.
Yes.
Okay, so you were asked to change the name into something else. And why did you come up with the word Likha?
So we come up with the word or with the party name, which is Likha, because since we all know that we came from Lodi Party, so it means we wanted to create new. Likha stands for create something new or renewal. So it is a term that we wanted to tell everyone that we wanted to create something new to the organization and to the institution as well.
Okay, so it's very clear that you don't have any competition right now because the other party doesn't have a vice presidential candidate. So how do you feel working with the opposition as the president?
I'm so sorry.
How do you feel? How do you feel working with the opposition, especially with the president?
Okay, so I believe that me and Sergio have worked along together since as of now we are also working together in one organization. So I think we will also be productive as well for the next school year in which we will give service to the student body. So me and Sergio is really quite good friends, and I believe that we can be better working as a team.
Okay, so why vice presidency, not presidency?
Yes, most of people ask that as well. So why vice president? I didn't run for president because I'm actually into academic as well. I don't wanted to left that behind, the academic scholarship that I have. And vice president is just a lower position compared to the president. President has a lot of things to do. President should always be in school. However, vice president should also be there. But in difference to their obligation, president is quite a big obligation to everyone. So next year, I will be a fourth year college. So I don't want to put that academic excellence of mine into tests, since I just wanted to be the vice president because the president is quite a big step for me. That's why I don't want to run for that position.
Okay. So you want to stay safe and also you want to stay on a comfort zone.
Yes.
And also, okay, so what inspired you to run for the re-election?
So the things that inspired me to run again for the upcoming election is that I wanted to change the student organization for a new student organization, a strong one and a better one, a successful one. I am here not just to have the position as the vice president, but I am here to influence others, to inspire others that we can have the change that we wanted for the organization and for the betterment of the school.
Okay, so let's go to the platforms of Likha, right? It's Likha.
Yes.
So what are your platforms or what are the projects, the programs you have prepared for the students?
So yeah, actually I haven't prepared for this interview, so I just tell you things by heart. And I haven't memorized all of our platforms since we have a lot of things. So Likha, every letter stands for a certain word. First, letter L, leadership. So under leadership, we have different platforms. We have leadership seminars for mayors or class mayors. Next is acknowledging the importance of the clubs and organization we have here in school. We also have inter-school leadership training. So the previous or the Senate now this term, this school year are actually wants to have an inter-school training programs in which we will call Senate's League. So in this kind of action, we will benchmark some of the most good qualities of the other schools, good qualities of the other student organization in their school. So next we have letter I, integrity. Integrity stands for the holistic honesty of a certain group. So we have to promote honest and clean student organization, equality for both maritime and non-maritime courses, and transparency of VMA's supreme student government to the administration, maintaining the good quality of being a true leader and being a servant leader to the student. Next, we have the letter K, knowledge. So as we all know, we are an academe, and we wanted to promulgate the academic excellency of each student, because I believe we are not just a student, we have something to be boastful about within our academic excellence. So first, we have under knowledge, we have promoting mental health symposium through social and leadership awareness program for low-esteem students. As we all know, not everyone are willing to give themselves to the public. So this time, we will show to everyone that low-esteem student can also be great. So next, we have imparting knowledge and skills of student service of the school to the students. So this is actually the things that our Vice President had said to us during our meeting with the scholars. For example, I am a student organization and my friend is a Poseidon. So this is a win-win situation in which that certain friend of mine will teach me in how to dance, and in my position as well, I am a student leader. Perhaps I could invite her within our training seminars, leadership trainings, and so on, as well to other school services. Next, we have giving more information about the student benefits. For example, we have the clinic, guidance, because as we all know, for the freshman student, they are not really familiar within our services. So it is a good idea that we could post something within our page that will inform them about the services, about the benefits that they could get from the different offices that we have. Next, we have humanity. So in Likha Party, we're not focusing more on the internal aspect. We are also more focusing on the external aspect. How can we help our community? How can we help our neighboring city, community? Okay, so we have here humanity, student-friendly environment with discipline. For perhaps our projects will also include different signages for the different trash bins that we have. As we all know, our trash bins has this signages biodegradable, non-biodegradable. But for now, we will have signages that throw your trash here, throw your garbage here, like something like that. And then create public donations and volunteerism. So we will continue the legacy of our late sensei, and we will help our community as well. We'll do cleanup cleanup drive, tree planting activities, mangrove planting, livelihood, and so on and so forth. And next we have care to community extension as well. This is an outreach program. And for the last, A stands for action. So strengthening and supporting the VMA core value, which is discipline. And full implementation of student rights based on the VMA Supreme Student Government Constitution and bylaws. I know not all students know that there are certain rights, that they have the rights to have a promissory note from the accounting, and this time we'll make sure that each student will know their rights, will have to take their rights, will fight for their rights, and we will make sure that they will get that right as well. And lastly, we have fast and advanced dissemination of information and programs and activities. We'll make sure that our VMA Supreme Student page will be activated, and each and every day we will have something to post to.
Okay.
That's all.
So that's that's a lot of platform,
Yes.
like what you've said. So with those platforms, can you really say that it's Is it not too idealistic, or how feasible is that to happen?
I believe it is very feasible if there is unity within the organization. Everything is possible if everyone will unite, everyone will take action, everyone will have their voice, everyone will take the lead. Not just the president, not just the vice president, not just the executive branch, but the whole organization. This is really feasible and visible if we could just make everything, every action that we have into a unity and whole.
Yes, I understand that there's the grace and the unity. We work together as a team. It's very it's a good platform to produce and for us to materialize those things. But since we're living in a crisis, like in a pandemic, and still we have this limited face-to-face classes, and all those platforms are really good. I am so amazed. But do you have any mechanisms to perform those platforms, especially those programs for the betterment of the students and also for the welfare?
Yes, so as we all know, we are still in pandemic and we will never know when this pandemic ends. So we will also use social media platforms. Social media platforms is a very, very important tool in order for us to disseminate information, to inspire others. So pertaining to our platforms, using social media, for example, we have mental health advocates. So in this time, we will use our VMA Supreme Student page, in which every day we will post a certain quotes that will provide mental health advocate, a very inspirational words. Yes, the previous Supreme Student government are working on it now, but it is not consistent. So for the next school year, for the next SSG Supreme Student government set, we will make sure that we will be consistent to that action.
Okay. So also, like you have mentioned, that you want to educate the students or let the students be aware of their students' rights,
Yes.
right? So that's a good idea. But what is your mechanism in letting them know what are their rights as a student?
Okay, so we have here our part of our platforms as well, that we will have a general election to the class mayors. So the class mayors is our hands, linkages, our voice, our ears, our action to their classes, to their sections. So within the class mayors, I believe we could actually disseminate certain information towards them, and for them to disseminate as well that information to the students. We will tackle, so each week we will meet with the class mayors. I believe the governors, that's part of their duty. So the governors will meet the set of class mayors. In that time, they will discuss the student rights, and I believe that's a good mechanism as well.
Okay. With all the platforms that you have, of course, that's a lot of platforms, a lot of things to do.
Yes.
Also. And as presented earlier, the other party has their own platforms also.
Yes.
So, hypothetical speaking, how will you implement your platform if you belong to the minority? Like most of the student leaders who will win in the elections will be from the opposition. How will you implement your programs, your advocacies, if you have a different platform from the other?
So as we all know, me and Sergio is a very good friend. So I believe there's a process to that. We will discuss each platforms, a platform from Ulikid, a platform from my party as well. So within that case, we will perhaps vote for the majority of our platforms. If where is the platforms that is good, where is the platform that is not really visible, that's not really visible to the student, which are the platforms that really could benefit the students. So within that kind of scenario, I believe discussion is really important.
Okay, thank you, Christine. So when we return, we will know more about the platforms of Likha and know more about Christine as a vice presidential candidate. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the pre-election interview 2022. Here with me is Ms. Christine Bailan, running for the position of Vice President. Okay, so let's continue with the interview. Christine, you have been sitting as the Executive Vice President, right? So what problems have you seen with the current SSG administration?
So there's a lot of things in how I can describe my reign or the current SSG situation now. But I believe the main problem is that inconsistent of the officers, the commitment, the dedication of each officers. I believe that a certain action is not just, it could not be good if you just walk on the first step, but also you must continue the steps, the consistency, the dedication, the commitment that is very important in a certain organization. And I believe that this organization, that's the thing that they are lack of.
Okay, so if you will win as a vice president, executive vice president for these elections, will you say that you will be consistent, or have you been consistent in your last leadership?
Okay, so I know that the student body will not choose me as their vice president because I don't have any competitor. So I believe I have been consistent within my position as vice president. I am there when everyone needs me, when a certain position needs me. I believe that for the next school year, I will be consistent as well. I will be consistent to my purpose. I will be consistent to the words that I gave to the students. So I hope that the other positions, the other officers will have that kind of mindset as well.
Okay, so of course, people say that when you are running for a position, it has always been a best foot forward, right? Yes. So we really have to be true to ourselves. We have to be very true to what we say. Like, we have to walk the talk. And yes. How will you do that?
So I believe that they say that promises are not meant to be broken, but meant to be proven. However, in my case, I believe that promises are not meant to be proven, but meant to be fulfilled. So as for me, I cannot promise that I will be consistent, but my action will speak that. In my reigning now, I have been, as what I've said, I have been consistent, and for the next school year, I will be consistent as well. I will do my very best to give the best activity, to give the best experiences to the student body.
Okay, so that's really nice. Also, in your last leadership position as a executive vice president, what was the most difficult decision that you have ever made?
I believe the most difficult decision that I've made is that there's no actually a hard decision for me, because running for the position again is my passion. I believe there's a purpose with that. So there's no such thing as hard if you will really follow what your heart is speaking and what your soul is into.
Yeah, and you really have to be prepared when you run for a position, right?
Yes.
Like you have to anticipate, even though there's no problem yet. You should have your own solutions. Right. Okay. So, how did you arrive with this decision, like running for vice president?
So I've arrived within this decision because I wanted to be the inspiration of others. I want to influence everyone that we could be the change that we wanted. So as far as everyone know, I am back my high school here in VMA as well. I am just a no one. But look how far I've been now. I've been serving others. I've been the servant of others. I've been the not to be boastful about, but I've been excellent within my academics. So I believe if I could do that, the other students, most of the students of VMA could also do that.
Yes, because as what you have mentioned earlier, that you don't want to run for presidency because the burden is heavy,
Yes.
like the responsibility is big,
Yes.
and you don't want to lose your academic excellence. So why choose to run if you could focus on your academic excellence instead?
Okay, so why choose to run if I could just focus to my academic as well? So my mantra in life is that to never be settle for less. I've always wanted to have greatness. I've always wanted to reach the highest level. Yes, you could have 99 grades, but however, if you could get the 100, so why not? To take the risk, take the responsibility, be great, do more, and be better.
Okay, so as a vice president, how will you promote, like how will the voices of the students be heard?
Okay, so yes, that's my one of my line as well. So I believe that perhaps during the meeting with the governors to the class mayors, I believe I could interfere to that. I will every month or every week I will communicate to the student body, to the class mayors, what are their concerns, what they wanted to the student organization, what they wanted to the school, what activities that they wanted. So I believe within that situation, through me, I can hear what are their goals, what are the things that we wanted, and I believe if I have this position as the vice president, I can link this, I could link the things that we wanted to the administration, and I hope I could give that things possible.
Okay, last question. How did you feel about the withdrawal of your president in the race?
So I actually respect his decision. He's actually a great man. He said that the position is not for him, and he's not willing to take that big responsibility. And I respect and I admire his decision because, yes, president is not just an ordinary position. It's a big decision. It's a big step. So upon his decision of withdrawal, I totally respect his decision because he is wanting for the student organization for a better, and if he think that he could give that betterment, so that decision of withdrawal is quite a good decision.
Yes, I agree with you that being honest is a very difficult task, especially being honest with yourself. Okay, so let's proceed to the fast talk. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go. One word that describe you as a person.
Ambitious.
What do you do when you're angry?
I cried.
Okay, how do you describe the present SSG administration?
Stiff.
If you would live someone else's shoes for a day, who would it be?
I will never leave someone else's shoes because I believe I am actually good within myself, and yes, I admire others, but I admire as well myself. I am very proud of myself. I am very proud of what she had been through, and I don't think that others could do that if they have my shoes as well.
One greatest characteristic of a good leader.
Purposeful.
Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much, Christine Joy Bailon, for accepting the challenge of a one-on-one interview here on Live. So thank you so much, students, faculty, and staff who are watching right now. Please don't forget to, please don't forget to practice your right to suffrage tomorrow. The line opens by 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. We will be posting link and also the procedure of how you vote for the online elections. So this is an online election. We have an online system wherein you could practice your right to vote wherever you are. As long as you have a stable internet connection, you can practice your right to suffrage. Okay, this is your fundamental democratic right. So please practice, let your voice be heard. Okay, so thank you so much to our guest speakers. Thank you so much to the MIS department for giving us a very good reception, technical support. Okay, so again, this is your host, Rene III B. Alcala, and this is the end of the pre-election interview 2022.